Hello from New York and happy Diwali, Sri Anish, and thank you for agreeing to do this interview today.
Thank you. Namaste, Brigid. So happy for this conversation. So happy to meet you. Yesterday, we had a phenomenal Deepavali Puja and Yagya at the ashram. Looking forward to our conversation today. Yes, Brigid.
Very much so. Yes, so I had been hearing about you for some time and had a chance to speak with you twice this fall, and just grew increasingly struck by your wisdom, your integrity and compassion, and that's why I wanted to open this dialogue so others too could hear from you directly and see for themselves. And you're coming to the US for the first time in a few weeks.
Yes.
And what a moment to arrive at a time when chaos and cynicism seem to rule. And our trust in our leadership and institutions has eroded. It's almost this perverse paradox where we're drowning for information, but we're drowning in information, but starving for wisdom. And with AI now rewriting our words and images and soon our memories, we're living in an age where even truth feels up for debate, and every desire is catered to by the push of a button. And all the messaging around us says that wealth, beauty, and consumption will somehow fill that void. And yet we know it doesn't. And anxiety and depression are everywhere. Suicide rates are rising. And the spiritual hunger of humanity is enormous right now. And so that leaves us with this unique mix of distrust and also yearning. And right now, a lot of people, especially the younger generation, are asking, if I already have access to all these great teachers and texts and scriptures online, and all of our institutions are crumbling, what's the need for this dharma, this yoga, and how can I recognize the real from the fake? And if you'd like, we could start there.
Yeah, interesting. So Bridget, that's very true. Um, it's a very, I would say, interesting time in the history of human civilization. Um, some institutions are rising, many are falling. People are becoming very polarized. Trust seems to be eroding. We seem to be getting more comfortable with the screens, not in person. I also
Mm.
see that, especially even in India, I see that the younger generation, um, they're kind of becoming a little socially awkward. They're very comfortable when it comes to, texting people, and they have, huge amount of friends and contacts. But the moment you put them in a space, in a physical space with people around, they feel very uncomfortable. So it's a very interesting world that we are living right now in. You asked what's the role of yoga or dharma into the current zone. I would say, and you also mentioned, Bridget, this is actually the time when the need of spirituality, which we call dharma, or the need of yoga, is much more than any other time in the human history.
Mm.
Because you need the healing at the time when the pain is the most.
Mm.
And I think as a planet, as humanity, we are going through that phase right now. Uh, but what that really means, what is dharma? What is yoga? What is spirituality? Uh, my job when I'm born on the earth, Bridget, I think my job is to simplify things so that people can really see it for themselves, how clear, simple this whole process is. So I'm going to do that today in the conversation.
Mm.
At the core, Bridget, we're all looking for connections. At the core, we're all looking for nurturing. At the core, we're all looking for fulfillment. This is the human core. This is the human need. I would say this is life's need. If you look at even the plant life, the way roots of the tree under the earth, the way they talk to each other, the way they are
mm,
connected to each other, the way they nurture each other. I think that's the essence of life.
mm,
Every form of life, now we're talking about human life right now, the essential need is this ability to connect and then ability to feel fulfilled, right? Now, but the way or the medium that we've chosen for that is not serving us.
mm,
So we're trying to fulfill ourselves by a lot of pleasure-seeking experiences. And our own experience is telling us that it's not helping us. The hunger is not fading away. The thirst is not going away. What does yoga in this context mean, or dharma or spirituality in this context mean? Bridget, the essence of yoga is to join, is to connect, which is the essential human need. But connect with whom? With whom we want to connect. Now, that's where the whole thing is. Our focus goes outward, that I need to connect to people out there, communities out there. But that's
mm,
secondary, Bridget. Before that even happens, we need to learn to connect with our own self. What does then that mean? The ability to be present in the body, connect to the body. Am I am I here? Am I feeling certain sensation? Am I aware to the breath that is happening in this moment? Am I aware to the words that I'm speaking, to the hand gestures that I'm making?
mm,
Where are my eyeballs balls rolling right now? Where am I looking right now? Am I aware of the posture I'm sitting in? That's the first level connect, Bridget, we establish with our own body. What does this body need? What kind of food do I need? What kind of rest do I need? What kind of exercise do I need? How much active I need to make this body? Only first level connection.
mm,
Then the second level connection, Bridget, is you connect with your own mind, not lost in the unnecessary chatter, uncontrollable chatter. No. Connecting with your own mind, meaning, are you present to your own thoughts right now? What are the content of your thoughts right now? Are you aware of that? Are you connected to that? Is your mind tricking you? Are you able to talk to your mind and say, look, this I don't need right now. At this moment,
mm,
I need to focus on this. Yeah, so listen to me. Are we able to develop that capacity to talk to the mind and to govern the mind? That is, Bridget, is connecting with our own mind.
mm,
And then third level, which is again internal, connected to my own emotions. What am I feeling right now? Am I feeling calm? Am I feeling comfortable? Am I at ease right now? You see, what we've lost as humanity, or losing rapidly, which is giving rise to a lot of mental illness, is the ease. We're losing the ease of this moment because every moment we're trying to be somewhere else, do something else, become somebody else. We're not at ease with who we are, wherever we are, whatever we've attained so far. Are we at ease with that? So if you ask me what is the essence of spirituality, I would say the ease. What do you
mm,
see when you see a yogi or a guru or a saint walking? Even if you've read stories about that, what imagination comes to you, Bridget? A being walking at ease, a being
right.
talking with you, connecting with you at ease. But we've lost that ease. Why? Because I'm not connected to my emotions.
Mm,
I'm not present to my emotional states. I either try to shun them away or suppress them away or
mm,
magnify them. Either ways, I'm not able to deal with that. Now, unless you establish this connect with your own, let's say, body, mind, emotions, or we could say body, mind, heart, unless I'm
mm,
connected to that, I can't be connected to the world out there. That's where we're failing.
mm, mm,
You have programs and you have, in the management institute classes, how to communicate. Huh? Communication skills, for an example. But nobody is teaching us how do I communicate with my own body, mind, emotions.
Right, right.
That's the essence, Bridget. Once you are established in that, then you can connect with this entire cosmos, not just human species. That's the core of spirituality. To me, that's the core of yoga. This is true yoga. The ability to connect at ease in a non-transactional way. And that's the key
Mm,
word. Bridget, in a non-transactional way. Connecting with ease. Everything doesn't need to be agenda driven in life. Yeah. So if you need to catch two words in this thought that I shared, I think the two highlighting words here would be ease and being present.
mm.
Then you are able to connect with the world out there. Yeah. And I think if we don't develop that, then the machines are going to take over very soon. Machines are going to decide what you feel right now, what you eat right now, how you sleep right now. Machines are going to decide everything for you. Yeah, we don't want that state of human being.
Mm, 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 mm.
Because that state is a very dependent state, Bridget. And if you see, if you read the history of humanity and the struggle the entire human civilization has gone through, there have been tons of wars. And why did we fight all those wars? Because we wanted to gain our freedom. Nobody wants to be slave.
Mm,
Everybody hates slavery of any kinds, physical, mental, emotional. But we are missing the point, Bridget, that we are already becoming slave
right.
of the the habits of our body, the uncontrolled triggers of our mind, and the emotions which are absolutely taking us in all directions and making us physically and mentally sick also. Right? So we're becoming slave. And at the
Mm,
root, nobody wants slavery. With slavery, there is no fulfillment.
mm, mm, mm.
Yeah. So
And could we,
that's the core. That's the core, Bridget.
mm. Could
Mm.
we unpack too the comment you just made a moment ago about the non-transactional nature or essence? Because I feel like there's quite a bit there. And yeah, before I ask a follow-up, if you could explain that a little bit.
Yeah. So when I say non-transactional, Bridget, it's like every connection that we're forming, every relationship that we are creating has become transactional. Even our relation with our own body is becoming very transactional. I do this for you and do this for me. There's no nurturing aspect. There's
Mm,
no beauty. There's no love to it. And
mm,
that's the core of relationship. When I use the word connecting, what is the essence of connecting? When you connect not from the fear-based attitude, but from a
mm,
heart-based, which is love-based attitude, that's the true connecting which nurtures you.
mm,
Do we have that non-transactional connection with, let's say, the food that we eat, with people that we meet? What is the essence of that connection? If it is not transactional, it will always be transformational.
mm,
That this food, this person, this friend, this whole experience, this nature I'm connecting to is transforming me every moment of my life.
mm,
And with that transformation, I'm evolving. That's another point, Bridget. Each one of us wants to evolve. Each one of us. If I give you, as much money as you want, but I ask you, don't do anything. Just sit at your home. Don't learn, don't go out, don't meet people, but you have all the kind of money. That money will not bring evolution to you and you'll feel
mm,
suffocated. So I said connection, fulfillment, and the third thing I would add is evolution. Every
mm,
part of life, every piece of life wants to evolve. And in a transactional way, you can't evolve. You
mm,
can become clever and cunning, but you can't become evolved human being if every time my my eye is on the transaction. What is it that I will gain from this. You see? And the other aspect of this, Bridget, is we're becoming we've we're becoming takers in life. We're not becoming givers in life. And that's the issue with the transaction. Yeah. You see, the air does not want anything from you. It continues to give you the prana, the breath that you breathe. The earth does not want anything from you. Even despite putting all kinds of chemicals, she still gives. Life grows and life evolves when it learns to give unconditionally. Yeah. But in our mind, we're very poor. We have lack in us and we become takers. We're not sufficient. Whatever we have, we don't feel sufficient. We don't feel this level of contentment. And then we become takers. Then every connection is from the view of what do I get from this? So transactions have taken over. Yeah. I now even in the world of marriages, there is what do you call prenups. Yeah, the agreements. The agreements. So we've turned love also into an agreement. You see the
Mm,
problem?
mm, mm, mm.
Something that we considered as the epitome of human life and experience. The the devotion, the love between, let's say, a mother and a child, two partners. We've converted that also into a transaction. And
Right.
we're paying price for that. Our mental suffering is the direct price we are paying for that. So, what do we need to do? Can my connection with me become very non-transactional? I just love this body because I'm right now based in this body. I'm living in this body. I nurture this body as respect, as my giving back to this body, which is giving me so many anubhava experiences.
Mm,
Correct? I connect with the world, with people around, with the same sense, with the same essence, that every being here is contributing directly or indirectly to my evolution. What is it
mm.
that I can contribute? Not what is it that I can take from this person.
Right, right, right.
Now, that little shift, Bridget, will bring us to the reality of our own life, which is abundance.
Mm,
Reality of our life, Bridget, if you really think deeply, is abundance. In this moment, you have everything to live life fully of this moment. So this moment is abundant to you, correct?
mm,
But mind feels, no, no, I don't have this, I don't have this, I have lack in this area, I have lack in that area, and that's how the human struggle begins.
right.
Yeah, that's how the whole attitude of, the greed, the taking, the transaction sets in. So here, if you want to get one formula, can you
Mm,
shift every connection that you have, every relation that you form from a transactional mindset to an transformational mindset,
mm, 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 mm,
right? And from a taker's attitude to a giver's attitude. From the sense of lack, you move into the sense of living with abundance, right? This is the truth of life, Bridget. This is really the um, one day when the evolution within you touches that peak, you'll
mm,
start to sense and know this this abundance within your own heart.
mm.
Does that make sense, Bridget?
It does. And to me it just gets to the core of so much of this, which is the unconditional nature of that and the unconditional nature of love. And I think also for those who get, because it can sometimes be easy. I mean, I'm speaking to you from New York. This is is a hub of unfortunately many of the negative things that we're talking about, but also so many of the very, very beautiful and incredible and selfless things I see on a day-to-day basis. I was just thinking of that earlier tonight. I mean, I think a lot of people would be shocked at actually the huge open hearts that are here in the people of the city. But Um, and but yeah, even if you walk outside and you observe animals, you observe children, I mean, this effortlessness, this, selflessness, this joy, this unconditional love, you see it mirrored everywhere else in the world and in nature, except, with humans, with adults, with mature humans who have been conditioned in a very specific way, mostly all around the world, that I've seen, and even in all of my travels. But I have to say, I mean, there's so much beauty too that I see a lot of, I think, rejection of these norms, and um, particularly among the youth who are trying to live a different way, and they're turned off not only by, industry or business, which has, really built this machine that is, kind of hyper capitalism, which is very much on this extraction, extractive mindset, taker mindset, but that they see in relationships too. And actually, Srinish, it would break your heart. It kills me to even tell you this, but unfortunately, it's gone a step above these, as you called them, pre-marriage agreements or premarital agreements. Many parents now have them with their children, and
Oh
for
my God.
oh yeah, and it's exploded. So premarital agreements, right, are really based on finances, financial exchange, and so that's a similar thing that has really grown with parents and children as they offer financial assistance, as they get older, for let's say paying for college, et cetera, et cetera. But there's then, a list of pre-qualifications and necessities and contracts that are to be signed. So um, but again, and so I see, their rejection, not just in terms of, industry and business and what is happening in, a family or relationship way, but also with religion or religious or even spiritual institutions. That, and I think we'll circle back to this in a little bit, because I want to talk about some of the unique things that I've seen, with you and your teaching, and also the ashram, that kind of go against, unfortunately, some of the trends that we might see in spiritual or religious institutions that have these underpinnings or undertones. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, before I go on to the next question, was there anything else that you wanted to add to that?
Yes, yes. On this, Bridget, uh, this whole agreement thing that you talked about, you see, we have a choice as a human being. See, what makes us human is number one, that we have a choice. Yeah. Humans can choose from which space they act upon, from which space they operate from. Yeah. Humans have that choice because a lot of animal world is largely instinctive.
Mm-hmm.
But humanity has that edge above where we can go beyond our instincts and choose the space or the state from where we operate our life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's one. Number two, most of the time you see we have unconsciously, we've not activated our consciousness. So unconsciously, we are choosing to operate our life based on fear. Everything that we do, there's some sense of fear. So all these agreements, all the insurance world, everything operates from the sense of fear. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
What is the other choice that we have? The other choice that we have is to operate from the sense of love and trust. Yeah. If every other species is being provided for in this nature, why won't you be? If
Right,
every
right,
other species is taken care of by the laws of nature, why won't you be?
right,
Right?
right.
If every other species trust each other, why don't you? It's a collective thing, Bridget. We've come to this state of collective fearfulness.
Mm-hmm.
What is the role of a guru or spirituality or yoga or dharma or religion? Is what was the original role? The original role was to help humanity awaken their consciousness so that they're able to choose their platform of operation and they're able to move from the fear based operation
Mm-hmm.
to love and trust based operation. That's the essence of life,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you didn't trust your mother when you were born, you won't be alive today. If your mother didn't love you when you were born, you wouldn't be alive today. So what made you alive? This form of this piece of life that you're carrying is love and trust. That's the source from where we all come from. But the point is, Bridget, why are we losing it? Why are we moving to this fear-based operations? And the simple reason for that is we're not thinking for ourselves.
Mm,
Please look into it carefully. We're not thinking for ourselves. All our thinking is conditioned by 10,000 influences.
mm,
Religion is also one of the influence. Unfortunately, religion was not meant to, or spirituality, even, gurus or
mm,
religious institutions are not meant to be influencers, right? But they've come down to that level. What was their
mm.
original play? What was the part of their playbook? To help me raise my consciousness, open my mind so that I don't become a believer, but I'm able to think for myself.
Right, right,
I
right.
don't
It was
get
just,
influenced by anything. I hear 10 options or opinions, then I choose. Because so the beauty, Bridget, is there's a word in Hindi called Viveka Shakti. In
mm,
English, if I translate, it's the wisdom to discriminate. It's not
mm.
the negative discrimination. Wisdom to
Discern,
discriminate.
accurate?
Sorry?
Discernment, is that
Discernment.
accurate?
Exactly. Discernment. Huh? Wisdom of discernment. Every human being has that, no matter
Mm,
how educated or illiterate you are. Now, that wisdom is in each one of us. Are
mm,
we accessing it? You hear 10 voices, then access your own inner wisdom, which we call the voice of the heart. It
mhm,
will tell you the truth. You don't need to be influenced by anything. Correct? Now, but for that to happen, you need to connect with your own self. We're coming back to the earlier point. You need
mm,
to
mm, mm,
know who you are, what motivates you, what are your value systems, why you do things in a certain way. You need to bring this awareness, this consciousness into every little thing of your life. Once you do that, the beauty happens. The magic happens, Bridget. The magic happens to the extent you can't even believe.
yeah.
Because this magic is not happening from outside. The seeds of this magic, Bridget, are inside of us.
Mm,
You just need to access it. That's it. That's the pure spiritual science. You accessing your own inner wisdom. Period.
mm, mm, mm,
That's the independence. That's the love. That's the trust. That's the beauty. That's the magic we are talking about. It's there in every human being,
mm, mm, mm.
this light of wisdom. And if I add on to this, Bridget, you don't need to look for this light of wisdom from outside. You don't need to. Because something, that wisdom, that truth which is there in every human heart, that love and that beauty and that trust which is there in every human heart, how will you access it from outside? There is no way. You follow what I'm saying?
I do, yeah, yeah.
What you can get from the outside is just the path
Mm.
and the inspiration.
Now, is
Two
that also
things.
true from a guru when you say from the outside? Is it true, a guru and the outside?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So Bridget, what does a guru do basically? Or who, let's say, who is the guru?
Mm,
Who
mm,
is a
mm,
guru? I am oblivious to one segment of life, one truth of life.
mm,
Guru is somebody who brings light into that field and show me that look, you're missing this very beautiful part of your own existence.
mm,
Okay?
mm,
He or she will just bring a torch and show you that look, you're missing this point. If
mm,
you uncover this point, your life will be magical.
mm,
But Guru will not give you anything from outside.
mm,
Guru cannot give you anything from outside. And if somebody says that, I can give you something from outside, it's a trap.
Mm, mm, mm,
Nothing can be given from the outside. I said just two things. A guru can bring the light into the darkness of your corners, which you are oblivious to,
mm,
and inspiration.
mm,
Many times we know what to do, Bridget, what is the right thing to do, but there's no inspiration in us. So, Guru will bring that inspiration also into your life. In this Guru's presence, something in you will start to open up just in the presence. And open up means you will be inspired to look into this depth of your own being, which so far you didn't do because you were too busy in the outside noises.
mm, 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 mm.
That's the only thing a guru can do or will do. But to me, that's a very important role,
Absolutely.
extremely important role. But then don't become dependent on that. And
Mm.
now you also mentioned, I think earlier that what the fake thing? No, you what did you mention? How to trust or something like that you mentioned. Uh, when,
Yeah, there's another thing I wanted to get into, but yeah, we can talk about, please. Yes.
yeah, please say what is the other thing, and we'll just club both these things in.
Well, I mean, just to, I'll be honest, when I was uh many, many years ago, before I came to India for the second time, and before, I studied with one teacher, and before these things happened to me, I believe, like many, many did here, that, guru essentially just meant cult leader. Because we don't know. We don't know the denotation, we only know the connotation.
Mm.
Um, and, the various controversies, unfortunately, and, awful things that have hit the headlines with other certain figures in the past, and possibly in the present. I don't know. But and so that was the connotation. But just to, you know, uh, elucidate for the people who did not know, as I did many years ago, even what the Sanskrit term for guru is, which essentially we're speaking of dispeller of dark, guru, dispeller of darkness, or, maybe there's another definition you would give. But I just wanted to clarify that for many people, where, that that term has gotten, dragged through the dirt a bit,
Okay.
uh, recently, and unfortunately also commodified in the West, and commercialized, right? So we have the tech gurus, we have, and then this marketing gurus, and then this anti-guru movement.
Mm.
A famous documentary, "I Am Not Your Guru." So it's, but I mean, that kind of brings me to this question of what you just tapped on a little bit of. Um, and that's also speaking, to the very beginning of this conversation, using that discernment. But, how do you know? How can you discern? Even the average person, between the real and the fake, between um, so much of what they hear, the different options that might be available right now.
Right. Okay. I'll make it very simple for you,
Mm,
Bridget. How do you differentiate between a fake product and a real product? Not by the looks of it, only when you
mm,
use it. When you
mm,
use it, you realize, this is really not the original product. So what is the point? Your experience tells you, is this the right product or a wrong product or a
mm,
copy? Your experience tells you. Same thing with the masters or the guru that we call.
mm,
A, I said the role of a guru is not to give you from anything from outside,
mm,
but to show you the path towards your own truth, which is residing in you. Correct? So the secret is within you itself. So this person, this being can only show you the path, number one.
mm,
Number two, this person will inspire you to walk that path. These are two core critical things
mm,
of a guru, right?
mm,
Now, where is the in if you look at these core things, where is the point of falling in any trap or
mm.
joining any cult? Where is the point?
Yeah.
Is there any point? No, there's just
Mm,
no point. So never become the follower of anybody.
mm, mm, mm,
Never become the follower.
mm,
We're not here to become follower of this sect or this cult or that cult. Yeah. Because follower basically to me means when you've when you've stopped using your own mental capacities.
You've given up your agency. Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
given up your agency. That to me is a follower.
Yeah.
But to really walk the path of truth and spirituality, you need your faculties. You
Mm.
need to sharpen them much more than they were before. Correct? So you need your intelligence. How does that happen? Now, you meet somebody. We're talking about guru in the body right now. Somebody who's
Mm.
in the body, who's still alive. You meet this person. You experience the presence of this person.
Mm.
You experience the teaching of this person, and you just don't catch the words. You take the
Mm.
teaching and implement into your life and see if something transforming. Slowly it grows. After few months, you will come to know, Bridget, if this person, this path that this person showed is really true for you or not. Only by using a product you come to know about the fakeness or the genuinity of it. Same works here also.
Mm.
Correct? But you don't need to. Uh, it's simple, Bridget. When you meet somebody, do you day one trust that person blindly, fully? No, you don't.
Right.
You
Right. Right.
experience this person's behavior, his or her thoughts, and everything about this person. And slowly that trust develops. Slowly that love between two beings develops.
Mm.
Exactly the same process here also, right? Uh, I don't see there is any way or any need to follow somebody or getting trapped. It only happens if you stop using your intelligence.
Mm. Mm.
And it also happens in external influences.
Mm.
Yeah. You see 10,000 people following somebody and you also get influenced to follow that. Yeah. The
Right.
crowd mentality.
Right.
Yeah. Spirituality is not about
Even on a
crowd mentality.
level happening. Yeah. Very much.
Yeah. So spirituality does not work on the crowd mentality, Bridget.
Mm.
It's a
Mm.
very individual yet collective process.
Mm.
Yeah. But you need to think for yourself. Yeah. So check the person out. Implement some of his or her teachings into your life. And above all, experience the presence of the being.
Mm.
Now, I could give you some hints here. Hmm. If the presence has some element of fearfulness, some element
Mm.
of fear, red sign.
Mm.
If in the presence you feel something which does not seem real, red flag.
Mm.
If you don't see the word that I used earlier, the ease in this being, in the teachings of this being, in the presence of this being, if you don't see that ease, there's a red flag.
Mm.
These are some of very solid red flags. And the fourth is, which is also very important. See, Guru would never need anything from you.
Mm.
He or she is not a business person. In fact, he or she has given up everything and been elevated by the cosmos to this role now, this dharma of his or her life, when he's been asked by the higher forces to
Mm.
spread the wisdom.
Mm.
His or her only thing is to share this love, this peace, this ease, this joyfulness with the world out there. This being does not need anything from you. If so, the relation with the Guru cannot be transactional, cannot be, correct? That's the fourth point. If you see this being expecting something from you,
Yeah.
anything, yeah, red flag. And the fifth and the last and the most important, this being's only interest in you is your own evolution, period.
Mm.
This being's interest in you is not that you will take the work forward, you will bring X amount of money, you'll build a large temple, nothing. This being's primary interest in you is your own inner spiritual evolution, period.
Mm,
That's
mm,
the base. So see, now if you look at these 5 points, we all intelligent, we all are intelligent enough to explore all these 5 points. May not be on day one, but
right, right.
1 month, 2 months, 3 months, maybe in a year, and then see what's happening in our life. But don't approach any guru being from a FOMO perspective.
Mm,
Oh, the whole world is following, I must also follow. My 20
mm,
friends are following, I must also follow. No, you must only go to this person or this being if you have thirst for truth.
mm, mm, mm.
Be very clear. Why are you approaching a spiritual being, a spiritual institution, or or a spiritual teaching? Only for the thirst of truth.
Mm.
If you're going to that being so that you get more money in your life, your career flourishes, your health flourishes, your relationship flourishes, then it's the wrong starting point.
Yeah.
All that may happen, Bridget, as a
Some
unconscious.
make promises, so it's important to talk about this. Yeah.
Correct. All that might happen. Why? Not because of the guru, because your internal energies are getting aligned to
Mm,
your
mm.
life. So this synchronicity, this harmony will start to come in your relation between your mind and your body. The
Mm,
health will come, the 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 finances, the relationship, all of that may start to flourish, not because of this being, but because you are internally aligning your energies towards the higher goal, higher purpose of your life. That's why these alignments are taking place.
mm, mm.
But please don't approach any spiritual system, any spiritual master, guru, any teaching because of this transactional outcome.
Yeah.
These are, I'm calling them transactional outcome. They may or may not happen.
Yeah.
But you approach the teaching or the guru or the institution only because you want to know the truth of this life. You want to experience the bliss of this life. You want to experience the eternal love of this life. And you want to experience the abundance in your heart.
Mm,
And
mm,
lastly,
mm.
you want to really know who Bridget really is beyond this form and notion, who she really is. She wants to know this. And it is her birthright to know who she is. And
Mm,
because
mm.
of that, she approaches a spiritual institution, guru, or a teaching, period. So as a disciple, we have a role. And our role is to clarify what do we seek.
Yeah.
So I honestly, I see, Bridget, a lot of people get trapped because they were seeking the transactional thing. And if
Mm.
you're seeking a transactional thing, somebody's going to come and make a fool of you, like any other business. They sell you products which you don't even need.
Right, right, right,
And you end up, going to a large store. There's been research. You go to a large mall or whatever the large stores, wholesale stores you go, you end up buying things you don't need.
right, right,
Because
right.
somebody saw your need slash greed and your hunger for transaction.
Yeah,
Somebody made a fool of you.
yeah.
Does that
I
make
got
sense, Bridget?
it is, but at the same time, I have so much empathy because, I see people suffering. I think that's true now, like never before, even if we just say in the mental health. I mean, yes, on for all markers globally, worldwide, right? Physical health, survival things, medical breakthroughs, et cetera, are on the uptick. But mentally, we've never been worse as we are now. And I'm speaking to you, particularly from the U.S. Our pharmacies are overrun. I mean, almost everyone, is on some, not just pharma product, but particularly, psych related. Anxiety disorders are the norm. I'd say possible majority of my close friends have had or experienced panic attacks, panic disorders. It's particularly post COVID, things have really changed. And so I have so much empathy. People are suffering as never before, desperate as never before, in need as never before, and seeking those solutions. And so and also at the same time we have the rise of, here we call them carpetbaggers, hucksters, tricksters, who will sell you every promise under the sun, particularly coming from the West. It was different when I was in India. Also, there is more sophistication, not just discernment, but sophistication and knowledge. What um, cultural, intrinsic, DNA almost knowledge. In this kind of spiritual lexicon that doesn't necessarily exist here, and so I see people falling for um, things here that would just be incredible. And actually I wanted to unpack that a little too, because I can see some who would listen to our conversation up to this point, and particularly speaking about the search for finding that the great master that can enlighten your dark parts, or the shadows in your life, and help you transform and evolve. And some might see this whole laundry list and say, my God, this is too complicated, it's too much for me, and it's too easy for me to get lost, so I'm going to continue to go to my corner little yoga studio, or I'm going to continue to read you know uh from Joe Smith, the Book of Yoga, and or the Book of Enlightenment, whatever, these ridiculous titles over here. And I'm going to learn from my, the local person that charged me 20 an hour, or whatever it is, to learn, yoga, to evolve in dharma. So if we could, because that is the kind of modern practice and understanding that people have of yoga and dharma here. So if we could talk about that a bit, and that's part of the resistance that people have, right, to kind of seeking out or exploring even an enlightened being, that it seems too hard, too complicated. And so they kind of stick with what's easy, local, and also not only that, but from people who look and speak like them, right? So there's the familiarity, there's the you know various levels to it that happens in the West. So yeah, if we could explore that.
Correct. So, point number one, when the pain
Mm,
collectively increases, it's also a positive sign that we are becoming ready to now finally get and explore the solution. Yeah.
right,
So,
right.
so that's point number one. Number two, uh, Bridget, whatever I shared is actually not difficult or not complicated. In fact, the word that I'm using again and again is all about bringing ease into your life.
Mm, mm, mm.
But ease does not mean quick fix. People need to see, we all need to see that we are falling in trap because of the need of this quick fix. Quick fix work for a few hours, but does not work permanently, right? So that's second level of wisdom we all need to know based on our own experience. Yeah. The third thing, by all means, we need to explore this ease, right?
Mm,
And this ease, Bridget, will only come if you sit just quietly and connect with your own self. Only then this ease will come. No matter how hard we try by any sophisticated or simple external method, the ease will only come when you develop this ability to sit quietly with your own self and connect with this part of life, this piece of life. That's the only formula to bring
mm,
this ease into your life.
mm,
No amount of external running around, studio, yoga studio hopping, etc., or watching tons of YouTube videos or reading 10,000 books will
mm,
not bring disease. The
mm, mm.
purpose of all of that is to inspire you. to inspire
But
you
you
to
also
sit.
get a lovely certificate.
Sorry, sorry.
Here you get a lovely certificate. So if you spend 200, 300, 400 hours reading the books, following the videos, or whatever, you get a lovely certificate which certifies you as a
Correct.
God knows
So-
what teacher.
Right. So to me, Bridget, that's you are allowing yourself to again get tricked.
Mm,
This is a trick because the question you need to ask yourself, has it brought you to a space of love, trust, and ease within you?
mm,
That's that's the yardstick. I've done this program, I've done that program, I've read this book, I've read that book. Beautiful.
mm,
This is all part of the process. I'm not
mm,
rejecting this.
mm,
But
mm,
has it brought me to my space of absolute love, trust, and ease?
mm,
Because essentially, Bridget, that's all we are looking for. But because we're not willing to invest our time and energy, we look for quick fix.
mm,
And we get settled with that quick fix, and that quick fix maybe somebody tricks us by
mm,
giving us a beautiful certificate for $500. But that does not bring lasting impact into your life or lasting transformation into your life. Please understand, I'm not rejecting this. I'm saying this too is part of the process. These
mm,
certificates too are part of the process.
mm,
But that's not the okay in the journey. When does the journey really starts to become fun? When you don't stop in the journey,
mm,
when you continue with the journey. So this program, 200, $500 dollar thing, beautiful.
mm.
Don't get stuck there. Keep moving. There are new horizons awaiting. There are
Right.
new experience and new closeness to your own love, joy, and bliss awaiting for you. Yeah. So don't settle for less. That's all I'm saying.
Mm, mm, mm,
But as you said, and I agree with you, Bridget, there'll be lots of people who are mentally just trying to console themselves with that 1 hour class, whatever they are doing. Yeah. Maybe that's the level of evolution they are at right now.
mm,
They might
mm,
take few months, years to mature further and then
mm,
enter into something more deeper,
mm,
something more holistic.
mm.
Yeah. So that's how it is. And please understand, we're not here to solve any world problem. We are
Right.
here to share what has been received by us. And by sharing that, I believe humanity will become much more joyful, loving, and trusting. And people will be able to connect more deeply with themselves and with the world around. If that starts to happen even in few lives, I think you've already created a lot of beauty around you.
Mm, mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm.
So that is how we need to think, not in terms of masses, etc. Yeah. One candle, let's light another candle. Let this candle light another candle. And soon you will see. I read somewhere, Bridget, one seed can make the whole planet green.
Mm.
One seed. Correct? That's how the spiritual process works.
Right.
Even if a handful of people start to experience this, you will see the world transforming with that. Yeah. And of course, there'll always be some people, for them, this thought may sound different than, what they're comfortable with.
Mm.
And one more point I want to add here. I'm talking about ease, but at the same time, I'm also talking about disruption. If you want to continue be in your own comfort zone and think that evolution will happen, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen.
Right, right,
You
right,
will
right,
only going to get tricked by a lot of institutions or people because it
right.
doesn't work like that. It's not the law of nature. If I have to grow, evolve, I have to get up and work on this. I have to leave my comfort zone. So I think the first question that people must ask themselves before initiating any spiritual journey, are you willing to break your own comfort zone,
Mm.
because this path will require that effort, will require that courage,
Right.
and then the ease will start to come. So these are two oxymoronic things: breaking your comfort zone and being at ease.
Right.
But at ease is not being in comfort all the time, because being in comfort all the time, physically or mentally, Bridget, is basically what we call tamasa, which is
Mm.
um, inertia, laziness, and illusion.
Right. Right.
That's what
Right.
comfort is all about.
Right. Right.
But ease is not that. Ease is constantly expanding my boundaries, but not as a warrior, but as a lover,
Mm. Mm. Mm.
stabilized at my easiness. Right? So there are two ways to expand the barrier, your boundaries. So that's how it is. But I'm really saying that uh, our friends, people out there in the world, if they don't want to work with their own comfort zones,
Mm.
they'll never be able to reach to this ease. What they will reach at is mental inertia,
Right. Right.
the lethargy of the mind,
Yeah.
the dullness of the mind, which is not ease. At ease, your mind is very sharp. Your presence is very awakened. That's what ease is all about. And last thing on this, Bridget, I've worked with, you know, so many people, and I must tell you, this is the most easy and simple part of life.
Mm.
Every other thing is too complicated. You want to build your house, it's complicated. You want to earn X amount of money, complicated. But walking this path to me is the most direct, easy, and most
Mm.
joyful thing in life.
Mm.
I don't know if I answered what you were asking for.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
Um,
so I think
there,
with that, there must be some clarity. Um, One of my work, Bridget, is also to break a lot of, I'm using the word, to break a lot of misconceptions around
mm.
spirituality and sadhana and guru and, spiritual institutions. That's one of my work, because these misconceptions don't allow you to really evolve.
Right.
Yeah.
So actually, you mentioned one that we haven't broken into yet, which is on the sadhana.
Mm.
I just realized my do not disturb is not turned on. That's the one place we haven't. And just for those who aren't familiar with the term, essentially practices, spiritual techniques, etc. Um, but I do see a lot of, again, because there are different institutions and masters that are out there that say various things. So if you could take the mic on kind of unpacking the misconceptions, and actually just one minute too, I realized one thing that I kind of had tagged what you were just saying before. I do see a hunger that people have. That's not what an issue that I see among the people around me in terms of willing to break out of their comfort zone. I see that interest, and another kind of roadblock that I see, and my God, even among myself, were the limiting beliefs that I had that were preventing me from, taking the next step, from seeing the next, what was around the corner, what I really wanted, what was really needed to be done. So yes, deconstructing those limiting beliefs and letting them go, removing them, so key. But yeah, also if we could then kind of unpack the sadhana piece, because I think there's a lot of mystery and possibly misconceptions on that as well.
So now that's a big piece, by the way, but we'll try to demystify that. Uh,
Mm.
uh, Sadhana, which is spiritual practices. So sadhana is not spiritual practices alone.
Mm.
Spiritual practices are part of sadhana. Sadhana is little more holistic. So,
Mm.
so let's say you do one kind of meditation or you do one kind of kriya is part of the sadhana, but that itself is not sadhana. You're doing some breathing exercise, it's not sadhana.
Mm.
You're doing a kriya. You're doing certain yoga postures, it's not sadhana. It's the asanas that you're doing. The
Mm.
asana aspect of the body's work, right? Sadhana is big, holistic, right? So that's number one. Number two, for each individual, there'll be different practices, Bridget. It
Mm.
cannot be one practice fit all.
Right.
It'll be different because your composition is different. Your energy circuitry is little different. Based on that, the practice that you do will be different from the practice that I do.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So that's number two of the practices. Number three, any practice that you do or any kriya that you do is not for life. You don't do it for life. It has a certain purpose, it has a certain role. Let's say out of 100 practices, maybe two or three are some, or maybe five are some that you can continue doing for your entire life. But 95% of the kriyas or practices, you don't do it for the entire life.
Mm. Mm.
Let's
Mm.
say
Mm.
your guru has given you a practice to open your energy channels
Mm.
because the guru sees that there's some blockage there, let's say. Now that practice would be for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 2 years, or whatever. Not for life.
Mm.
Not for life. Because once the channels are working properly, you don't need to do that.
Mm.
Right? Uh, so that's about the kriyas and the practices. Having
Mm.
said that, there are certain maintenance-based kriyas or practices which one can continue doing for life. Those are maintenance category because every day we accumulate a lot of non-essential on us. Yeah. These maintenance practices will help us, resolve that on a daily basis.
Mm.
Please understand, we're still talking about practices. We're not talking about sadhana. It's a
Mm.
subset of sadhana.
Mm.
I see a lot of misconception around it. People doing one practice or two practice a day, 30 minutes, 20 minutes kind of a thing. And they call that is my sadhana.
Oh yeah.
No, it's not your sadhana.
Everyone
It's
I
a,
know.
it's a misconception. It's a misconception because the true understanding of sadhana, Bridget, means when every aspect of my life is dedicated towards
Mm.
that path.
Mm.
We are interacting right now. Even this aspect of my life, this conversation is dedicated towards that. Right? I'm drinking warm cup of water to soothe my throat. Even that is dedicated towards that path of my life.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Follow. So which means I will bring awareness into this also.
Mm.
To me, this water is also sacred.
Mm.
I form a relationship with my pet. Even that, my my inner senses, even that is fueling my journey towards that path. Every aspect of my life becomes sacred. The
Mm.
problem right now, which is happening, Bridget, those 30 minutes of my 24 hours are sacred,
That's right. That's right. That's right.
and rest of my day is garbage.
Yeah. The
Doesn't work
profound
like that.
pain. Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
Mm.
The real sadhana, as per the Eastern concept, is
Mm.
that when
Mm.
every aspect of your life becomes sacred.
Mm.
Correct? So Kriya is not sadhana, subset
Mm.
of sadhana. Huh? So that's clarity. Number two, I said that Kriya and practice has to be different for different people based on their own mechanics. It is not common for everybody. If that
Right.
happens, we um, uh, as I said, certain maintenance-based practices could be common for everybody.
Mm.
Yeah, but not the real kriyas. They cannot be common for everybody. And
Mm.
in the past, gurus would not give it to anybody. Uh,
That's
you know,
that's right. That's right.
yeah, it didn't happen that way. Because
That's right.
if I give you a certain practice right now, I need to know your composition. I need to know where you are, what level of practice I must give you, what's your preparation. Yeah. It is not that, 10,000 people come, I'll give you a practice and that. Maintenance is different. Please understand.
Mm.
Maintenance practice can be given to all the people on the planet,
Mm. Mm. Mm.
but not deep practices. Yeah.
Mm.
So that's one part of the practice. And by the way, all the practices in the world that you see, all the practices in any culture that you see, their origin was, and that's what we know, their origin was from Shiva sharing 112 practices with Adi Shakti. And those 112 became the base practices for the entire humanity.
Right.
What you
Right.
see today is combination of those.
Right.
I've traveled to the land of Rumi, also Istanbul, and I've seen some of their practices. I've traveled at any other cultures also and seen some of their practices. Because I come from the East, I could trace back the genesis of that practice to one of these 112 techniques.
That's right. That's
Now
right.
tell me, why would Shiva give 112 techniques to Adi Shakti? Why not just one? Because he knew and he knows that there are so many different composition of people, and
Mm,
practice has to be according to their composition.
mm, mm,
Right?
mm, mm,
So that's what about the practices. And lastly, on the practice has a certain role. It is not the destination itself. Practice is a certain leg of your journey. It's not the entire journey itself. So don't make practice as either a FOMO or something for life or something that will take you to the door of enlightenment or to the door of blissfulness. Practice will not do that. Be very clear on this.
That's a huge, huge point and misconception. Yeah.
I know that's a huge misconception. Practice will not take you there. Practice is preparing you. Okay, very simply look at this, Bridget. I prepare the soil in my garden. Yeah. By just preparing the soil, will the flower or the tree or the fruits come? No. That's just one part of it. Then I have to sow the seed. Only the preparation of the soil will not do anything unless there is a seed. Now, with seed, I also need sunlight. Then I also need some water. Then I also need some other nutrients for that plant to grow and give fruits and flowers to the world. So practice is like preparing the soil only.
Mm.
So you can continue to prepare the soil for the rest of your life and not sow the seed. Nothing will happen. And sow the seed, but don't water it. Nothing will happen. Water it,
Yeah.
but hide it from sunlight. Nothing will happen. Yeah. Allow the sunlight, but don't allow the birds to come. Nothing will happen. Allow the
Mm,
birds to come, but don't allow butterfly to come. Nothing will happen.
mm, mm,
You
mm,
see, these all elements are needed.
mm.
Right? So,
Now,
so
sowing the seed, is this also the kind of distinguishing or crucial factor? I mean, is this where the live master, living master kind of makes the great difference?
okay. Now we rolling back to the earlier discussion. In humanity, in human beings, the seed is already there.
Mm,
You don't need the master or the guru to sow the seed. Please remember, I said nothing can be given from outside,
I
not
see.
even the seed.
I see. I
Seed
see.
is already there. You're
Mm,
not dependent on the guru to sow the seed, it's already there.
mm,
Guru is teaching you to nurture the seed, to
mm,
be aware towards the existence of the seed, right? And do everything possible to nurture this seed.
mm, mm, mm.
Be fueled enough, inspired enough to nurture the seed, which is already there. Does that make
And
sense?
absolutely. If we could, because there's a point you made earlier that almost every single close friend of mine is going to be obsessed about and want to understand because this is something, by the way, this is something that has been written about in the ancient texts. I've heard it referenced over and over, which is again why all the ancient texts did not give a DIY step by step action plan for, particularly among the Kriyas, but how to complete even certain asanas and et cetera, et cetera. It was, see your guru, get the instruction from your guru. And you mentioned earlier too about that kind of customized sadhana or, plan or techniques, depending on the person, depending on their constitution, depending on their readiness, their foundation, etc. And by the way, I've seen the kind of mass market that was also referenced earlier of maybe thousands or tens of thousands in terms of initiations or certain practices, and but and that's something that I know from my friends. They all, for those who know and have had certain experience in particular, they all hunger for, right? Like, how can I get that? How can I know which practices are important for me or what I need at this moment versus the next, which seemingly you can't really get from any other avenue. Maybe I'm wrong, but from any other avenue but a living master.
So point there is, even okay, so what I see happening, especially in the West and a lot in India also now, we've become we're becoming obsessed about practice and kriya.
Mm, 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 mm,
Hugely obsessed about practice and kriya.
mm,
Right.
mm,
Now I'll name the teachers and you tell me, huh? What practices did Jesus did? What practices and kriya Buddha did? What practices and kriya Guru Nanak did? What practices and kriyas Krishna did? Etc.
mm,
And list is endless. Or what practices even Rumi did? This whole
mm,
whirling thing of Rumi, that was not his practice. That happened when he got enlightened.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Right, right. He just started whirling because of the ecstasy and joy that he was experiencing.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Correct. Now, none of them, there's no record, to my knowledge, which talks about they did A, B, C, D, 10 practices. No. Why are we obsessing about it? Why are we no? So what we are doing? So practice is the okay. There's a tradition called Kashmir Shaivism.
Mm,
In Kashmir Shaivism, the practice is the lowest intellect quality.
mm, mm,
Lowest
mm,
intellect quality.
mm.
Kashmir Shaivism says that if you are really, your intellect is of that lower category, then you need a kriya or a practice.
Wow. Wow.
The text
Wow.
is on there. Please go read about Kashmir Shaivism. It's
Yeah.
the lowest intellect category. For
Wow.
middle category, there is no practice.
Mm,
Or I would say there are very internalized practices. They don't even want you to chant loudly.
mm,
In the middle category of intellect, you chant very softly, silently inside.
mm,
Correct? Now, somebody who's at a middle level of intellect, obsessing about the lowest level of intellectual practice, is going
mm,
down the journey.
mm.
Why this person is obsessing about it? Because that's how we've created a certain FOMO around it,
Absolutely.
and a
Absolutely.
certain
Those
influence around it.
that's the conditioning. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And even certain sense that if you break the practice, I mean, I know people who've been doing different kind of practices for 20 long years. And they very proudly say that in 20 years, I maybe just skipped 5 days.
Right.
Is that something you want a certificate about? You
Right.
think it tells me about your lack of intellect. Because if you had the intellect, you would tell me that I did 20 years of practice and look where I have reached. But
Mm,
I look into their eyes, they're the same people as they were 20 years ago. And when
right.
I ask them, what did the practice bring you? They fumble, right? Please
Right. Can
understand why we are
this
obsessing about this.
Yeah, yeah. Can I ask you, because
Right.
this is a question that a lot of friends have and have heard from various people, that some of these deep practices will bring up, or even certain initiations or certain courses will bring up, kind of deeper sankharas or deeper karmas, et cetera, et cetera. Heard, phrased many different ways. And so, you might go through a period of, maybe a potentially long period of physical ill health, of mental instability. By the way, I've seen all of it. I've seen
Okay.
all things and extreme things. If you could unpack that a bit, because that has become a part of the ethos, that you could expect these things, or this is a natural part, or maybe it means you've even plumbed certain depths, which is why these negative things are coming up. Yeah.
No. So practices will not bring the right practice
Mm,
will not bring any mental disorder or physical
mm.
ailment. It's an indication that it's not suiting you
Wow, wow.
in majority of cases. There could be 2-3% cases where it could indicate that a lot of internal garbage is coming out.
Only 2 to 3.
Two
Wow.
to 3% cases. Rest,
Wow.
it's an indication that, look, this is not for you.
Wow.
It's a caution sign. But what
Wow.
we push ourselves too hard, no, no, this will happen, that will happen.
Yeah.
Please understand, Bridget, in the whole Eastern mysticism, and there's a huge gamut of Eastern mysticism. I'm
Mm,
saying again, practice is probably 1% of it.
wow.
99% is not practice-based dharma.
Mm,
If you read Gita, Krishna, and when I'm saying practice, I mean the yogic practices or tantric kriyas.
mm,
That's what I mean.
mm,
Chanting the
mm,
name of Krishna could be a practice, but it's not a yogic or a tantric practice. It does not
mm,
interfere with your energy systems. It's
mm.
much safer, right? Now,
Interesting.
the
Yeah.
yogic and tantric kriyas are just 1 or less than a percent of Eastern mysticism.
Wow.
If you read Bhagavad Gita of Sri Krishna's dialogue to Arjuna,
Mm.
he is not mentioned about these yogic practices or these
That's right.
kriyas.
Yeah. Yeah.
What he's mentioned about? He's mentioned about jnana yoga,
Right.
awaken your wisdom, use your
Right.
intellect. He's talked about karma yoga, do selfless service, help the world around because that's one of your dharma. He's
Mm,
talking about dhyana yoga, meditate on the form of Ishvara, on the attributes of the divine. Meditate on that. Yeah. And what else he talked about? Jnana yoga, dhyana yoga. And then he talked about bhakti yoga.
mm,
Yeah. You place me in your heart because I'm already there in your heart. You just open your eyes towards my existence. That
mm,
this whole trees and people and birds and animals that you see, I am in each one of them as life, the way I'm in you as this form of life.
mm.
Be devoted towards that. Where is a kriya? Where is tantric kriya? Where is yogic kriyas in this? Do you
Yeah.
see? So we've just become obsessed about it, and this is causing a lot of damage to us. Yeah.
Right.
You might also have met people who've been doing practices for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, non-stop 5-day break. Look into their eyes, ask them, what has this practice got you? Because 20 years is a long time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll tell you some of those I know who have done even supposedly some of the most extreme and advanced, courses, practices, initiations, etc. Some um, are having mental breakdowns, are mentally disturbed, are suffering quite a bit, and so yeah, it really begs the question. It's so interesting though, hearing you speak, and I mean, I see from this perspective, from this kind of vantage point, the problem is it fits so perfectly in our educational system, the very way we've been conditioned since a young age. It's all about, like, okay, you
Right.
have to meet, you have your standards, meet certain qualifications, pass these levels, but it's all, very work and practice driven. So it kind of makes sense that I don't know if, I don't know which, or if it would kind of co-developed over time, but
Yeah,
it
but
kind of
Bridget,
fits their educational system
right,
standards and practices.
correct. And one of the fundamental thing we need to now look at is the laws of the physical world
Mm,
are different from the laws of the spiritual world.
mm,
The way you in your school, based on your education system, you were obsessed and you were target driven and you were practice driven, in your cursive handwriting, etc. Those are laws of the physical world reality. The laws of the internal world reality, the path is very different. These are different laws.
Mm.
You're trying to put the same formula in the inside world. It
Right.
will not work. It will
Right.
not work. It has never worked because there the formulas are different. Why would
Right.
otherwise Krishna talk about, these just four yogas? Why would Shiva talk about 112 techniques and not one? Huh?
Mm.
Why would Adi Shankara talk about um, combining these four yogas of Krishna together, etc.,
Mm.
etc., etc.? Why would Kashmir Shaivism say that Kriya is the lowest rung of your intellectual understanding, etc.? You see, because the laws of going inward, finding your own self, being
Mm.
at ease are little different than the
Mm.
laws through which you are living your world of reality.
Right. Well, and it is more
Yeah,
complex.
and
We're
and then
talking. Yeah.
then yeah, and then we get sold to these thoughts easily.
Mm.
Caveat here. Again, I'm saying there are certain practices which are maintenance based, general
Mm.
for all audience, for
Mm.
lifetime. They're very
Mm.
safe. So for just to give you an example,
Yeah. Could
let's
we?
say I
Yeah.
do, let's say I do this pranayama. Huh? Anulom Vilom, it's called, alternate nostril breathing. Let's say I
Mm.
do it 5 minutes every day. Yeah, it
Mm.
balances my Ira and Pingla, my solar
Right.
and lunar. Great maintenance thing for the rest of my life.
Mm. 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 Mm.
I'm
Mm.
just doing for 5 minutes every day. If I want to go into my deep meditation, I just balance my nadis.
Mm. Mm.
Correct? Can I call it a kriya or practice of, which will take me to spiritual awakening? Of course not. This is just a tool for me to better concentrate, period. I'm going for a critical meeting and I'm very anxious about that meeting, my career decision or some critical decision. I just do balancing of my nadis so that
Mm.
my anxiety lowers down. I do
Mm.
some three deep exhales so that my anxiety is down, so that I'm back in my presence. Is that a practice? Is that a kriya? No, it's just a tool.
Mm.
Safe. I use it at the time when my body mind needs it.
Mm.
It's not something that I have to do every day 20 minutes in the morning
Mm.
and believe that it'll take me to ananda or blissfulness, then
Mm.
I'm fooling myself. Correct? That's how it is. This simple understanding we need to, this is what we're talking about. This is spirituality, Bridget.
Mm.
This
Mm.
this unbreaking of the wrong misconceptions is what we need to do. This opening up of our intellect, this ability to question what we are doing, this
Right.
ability to question what is being told to us. Last thing I would say on this, Bridget, in India, entire culture that this entire great civilization that we built is built on the Upanishadic culture.
Mm.
What is the Upanishadic culture? We ask question,
Mm.
we talk. What we are doing right now in this conversation, we are following the Upanishadic process.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
You're
Mm.
asking certain question, I'm sharing certain thoughts based on my own realizations.
Understanding by inquiry. Yeah.
We are inquiring, we are trying to understand the nature of sadhana, the nature of spiritual path, etc., etc. This is the process.
Mm.
It
Mm.
is not a monologue. It is not that, look, I'm telling you, you got to believe this. No, 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 no. There's no space for that.
Mm.
Yeah. And that happens. That too happens. That level of trust and devotion and surrender to the Guru also happens at a later stage.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
When you
Mm.
become very intimate with the energy of the Guru being, like the way Arjuna became very intimate with the energy of Krishna,
Mm.
that's when he surrendered everything. That's when the devotion really unfolded magically. Those are last stages,
Right.
finality. It does not happen on day one. And
Right,
that's the
right.
beauty of this whole wisdom. Yeah. So we've talked quite a lot, Bridget, in this Upanishadic dialogue. Yeah. And I think we should stop here. Otherwise, we don't want our friends who would be listening to this to become overwhelmed by this.
Right. Agreed, agreed,
Because
agreed.
the path is of the ease, not overwhelmingness.
Right.
Yeah, but
Although this has given rise to a million other questions, but that can be for another time. And
yeah,
hopefully we'll talk later, but later this week, there's a few friends who'd really love to join me. And I think it'd be beautiful to hear, for people to hear from a diverse, backgrounds and people, and kind of engage in this dialogue through there. And
yeah,
again, before your visit to the US. So very, very exciting. But yes,
same
thank you
here.
so much, Srinish. Unbelievable for your time. And there were some, real incredible things you said, and even kind of, for me, I mean, explosive. Yeah. Understandings and upending old, belief systems, and it's big. So I can't wait for people to hear this, um, and in its entirety. And yeah, the whole thing is really going to be something. But thank you
Brilliant.
for your time. I know it's very precious, and you're traveling a lot right now. So
Yeah.
I'm very thankful and appreciative for that.
Thank you, Bridget, and we'll connect very, very soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you, Bridget. Thank you.
Namaskar.